Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new Locals feature match. Here we are in round 3 of my Locals recent mega tournament that took place this past Saturday. If you guys have not seen the previous rounds 1 and 2, I'll leave a link to those up in the top right for you guys to check out and get caught up. There should be a feature match going up every day till Friday for Swiss rounds, and then the top cut rounds will be going up over the weekend, so be on the lookout for that. Here we have my friend Johnny on the right versus my friend John on the left. John on the Phantom deck, Johnny on the Live Twin deck. Budget player, by the way. Figured I'd throw that out there. And we're going to see things get underway here. Starting off, pretty standard, Sunny Snitch into blue, and then into the Frost, I believe. I'm definitely a lot better at memorizing the names of these monsters. We'll see the evil Kelsey, as DB Grinder calls it, bring back the Lila, and then go into the evil Lila, bringing back the evil Kiss-A-Kill. That'll trigger the effect to go ahead and draw. Hopefully drawing to some hand traps or more hand trap hate, like Crossout Designator. One thing about this specific build, I believe he is on Super Polymerization. You guys might have saw a little glimpse of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon there in the extra deck, and that is for a good reason. Super Poly being a main decked choice is a little bit of a Locals meta call. So we'll see him end on the Starlight Sunny Snitch. Or not Sunny Snitch, Trouble Sunny, my apologies. And 2 set back row, and then the clock is starting to tick now with that Sunny Snitch burning and gaining 200 each time his opponent summons while he controls an Evil Twin. We'll see Torn Scales lead things off here, discarding a Cloak to Scented Gloves. And then we're going to see Cloak go ahead and search Boots, as is usually the move. Then we'll see him special summon the Boots, and we'll see if we have a response here. He'll add another counter. I know the damage is supposed to be taken immediately, as it says on the card, but my friend Johnny just likes to use a dice. Save a little time so you're not calculating life every 2 seconds. And then when you need to apply the, damage and life point gain, do that later on. And it definitely makes editing a little easier. But we are going to see the Trouble Sunny tag out here before he has a chance to get into Cherubini. He'll go ahead and pop and draw, popping the Torn Scales here. As to not put the Searcher in grave, we're going to see an E-Telly bring out the Psychic Wielder, the one and only Psychic Weed Dealer. And we're going to see him go for a rank 3, and that of Break Sword. And that is another 200 gained and 200 lost there on the Sunny Snitch. Now here he could technically go for a Zeus play. And we'll see if he decides to go for that. It looks like he will attempt Battle Phase here, and there's an ulti Super Poly budget player, by the way, discarding Crossout Designator for the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I told you it was in the main deck. Kind of saucy. Now we're going to see him activate Gloves here as a bit of a follow-up, a little rebuttal to that, main decked Super Poly. I wouldn't be expecting it to be honest. And then looks like on resolution, we'll see Torn Scales go ahead and get summoned. I see a Fog Blade, or 2 actually, in the opening hand here for our PK player. Not necessarily the cards you want to see right now. Another E-Telly would probably be pretty welcomed to get into Cherubini. I mean, looks like he still actually may have a way into Cherubini here. Torn Scales reviving itself, and then using the Fog Blade to bring back the Boots. And it looks like instead of trying to go for the Cherubini route, he will go for Break Sword. I mean, it's kind of tough at this point with how little names left he has to use. In fact, I think the only name, and another Super Poly. Wow. That is kind of busted. Not even a lie. Fusing off the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and the second Break Sword, which may actually be the last Break Sword in the extra deck, for a copy of Muddy Mud Dragon. Ouch. But he does have one of the most powerful spells in the game right now as a plan, plan E, to go for the Enforcer, dumping the bricks. So able to play through double Super Poly there and still get to Enforcer. with the boots and a Tornscale engrave. I mean, not as much follow-up as you'd like to have now, just actually having just Tornscales. But the Fogblade can come in clutch later on to revive the Tornscales out of grave, which is kind of nice to have. Or you could revive the Break Sword, and that'll trigger Tornscales. We'll also see the Treat activate, or the Frost activate, rather, to go ahead and banish itself and draw when his opponent adds from deck to hand. Yeah, so I can kind of see why maybe going for Cherubini there wasn't necessarily the play. Either route would have lost to the Super Poly. But he's pretty much gone through every name at that point. So you could dump the Graph, summon the Seer, go into Rusty, right? Maybe set up a Cloak Engrave and another Break Sword, or not Break Sword, a Fogblade. Or you could possibly set up a Shade Brigadine and maybe go for an Anaconda play if you had the extra extenders right there, which I don't know necessarily if you would have. But looks like they will go to the end phase, and the damage will be applied from the Sunny Snitch. I think both players, well, Live Twin player gaining 14 and our Phantom Knight player losing 14. And yeah, I think that will do it for the turn. DPE will resolve, popping the red. And I think we're starting now here with the Mud Dragon effect. And this card actually is a pretty neat effect. It can quick effect, I think, change its attribute. And anything that has that attribute, including itself, cannot be targeted, I believe. So it's a pretty strong effect. And it looks like it is going to force a Fogblade. Because if he calls Dark, that could actually be pretty rough, especially when your only form of interruption is Fogblade, which happens to target. So we'll see the one counter get placed on the Sunny Snitch. And looks like we're going to see DPE now here. Looks like maybe in standby to go ahead and pop itself alongside the Evil Lila. And now we're going to see the Trouble Sunny Engrave activate. Go ahead and banish itself to send the Evil Twin main deck. Probably force out the other back row here. So if he does have a normal summon, he can just link it off with the Mud Dragon. Of course, cannot use the effects of most of the Live Twin normal summons because they require you to have no other monsters. But he's got Monster Reborn. That's a pretty good card to have there. Definitely allow him to cut some corners. Not really needing a normal summon at this point. So he is going to revive the red. And he could revive the blue to go ahead and pop the other Fogblade. And looks like that's what he will do. And then we're going to see him put everything into attack position here. Now he does have Fogblade engraved, so he could revive something to block damage. But looks like he is going to opt to link 4 into the Trouble Sunny. Second Starlight, you love to see it. And I think another 200 damage was taken and added because of the Phoenix Enforcer. And this would be another 400 damage taken and added here because of the Sunny Snitch. So it looks like he'll go battle phase, attack over the Tornscales. It will get banished because of its own effect. He'll get to draw off of the red being revived. And no way to clear the Break Sword, unfortunately, as both the Evil Twin extra deck monsters have 1100 attack. I don't think Mud Dragon the Swamp has that much attack either. So you will not be able to get it over there. And the extra 400 damage being added and taken there. Now 10,000 to 6,000. Nice 4,000 life point difference. Our Phantom Knight players still not out of it yet. Still having a decent amount of follow-up here in the grave. Celestial Dasher is always nice. Still has another Fogblade. And also, I think that's it actually. I think, yeah, the Tornscales was just burnt now. Maybe necessarily didn't have to. Because I don't think he was getting OTK'd without it. I don't know. Maybe he would have. It looks like we will see a draw phase dash or summon Ash Blossom from the hand. And then standby phase DPE will return. And now Sunny Snitch tallying up more counters here. It's going to be another 200 or 400. I don't know why I keep saying 200. 200 for each summon. Looks like now we're going to go ahead and see the Sunny Snitch, or Trouble Sunny. I'm getting so many things mixed up. We're going to see Trouble Sunny activate, and is going to bring back just red. Not bringing back both here, because you don't have to bring back 2. It says bring up 2, I believe, on the Trouble Sunny. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened to the Ash there, but it looks like either way the Celestial and Dasher will get activated to go ahead and draw 2. He draws into Seer and Tornscale. Not the worst draws in the world. Unfortunately, the Seer won't find too much value, but it will make for a good discard for the Tornscales. And we'll see if this is going to resolve. And it does have an Effect Veiler. Yeah, that's going to hurt a little bit. Needed some form of Phantom Knight name engrave here to try to keep going. And this is even after the Celestial Dasher follow-up, so not much going here. So it's going to be kind of rough to try to come out of this. We'll see him activate the Fogblade engrave and go ahead and bring back the Break Sword here. It's 800 damage so far. Shade Brigadine being set and activated. Now there are no more traps in the grave. Going for a Link 2 into Dark, Charmer, Gloomy. Actually, I mean, he could actually go ahead and put up an OTK here if his opponent doesn't have another hand trap. We're going to see Red. I think Red was activating there and also chaining Nibiru now. Yeah, that's the hand trap he needed. That is the exact hand trap he needed. I think that actually probably would have been almost game there, because I think Gloomy could have brought back the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I think that would have probably sealed it. So Nibiru Veiler coming in very clutch, as it often does, and we are into game 2. And I'd like to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. If you guys are shopping on their site, don't forget to use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel in the process. And if you guys are shopping on either the Coldest Water or TCG Player, please do not forget to use the affiliate links I have. You guys shop and check out using those links. A small bit of the revenue from your purchase goes right back into the channel and helps out a ton at no extra cost to you guys. So, getting back to the game here, we will see Tour Guide go into Graph, into Cherubini. It's going to summon the Seer. And then we're going to see Cherubini dump Gloves. And then we'll see him go for either Link 3 here or Link 2. As I say, sometimes they go for the Anaconda very early on. But we're going to see him go for the Rusty. Seer is going to bring back Graph. No Nibiru yet. Love to see that. We'll see him successfully resolve also the Rusty. Getting Tornscales engrave and sending a Fogblade. Now he's going to go ahead and activate Fogblade, or maybe just thinking about whether or not he wants to grab Fogblade here. Maybe Shade Brigadine was looking a little bit better. We'll see him activate Gloves, dumping Cloak. That will trigger the Tornscale. Discarding a copy of Wings, which is always nice to see. Yes, it is a little bit of a bricky draw every now and then, but it's basically just free Monster Reborn in the graveyard. Was able to get it there. There is a Ghost Ogre on the Tornscale. That is kind of nice. It'll keep it out of rotation because odds are he was going to go ahead and overlay with it for a rank 3, putting it back into the grave, but now it is essentially out of the loop. He'll have to get it back with Leviair, when he could be getting back other things like Cloak. And speaking of, we're still going to see him dump Boots, and then Cloak is still going to add the Boots. He could spec the Boots here. He will spec one from Grave with the Wings, and then spec the other one from Hand. Could maybe possibly go for an Appaloosa here. Wouldn't be terrible, especially against a deck like this. But we'll see what he decides to go for. Of course, the DPE is always on the table. He will go for the Leviair here. Detaching a Boots to go ahead and revive the Cloak effect on the Rusty to give an additional 900. And we'll see if our Live Twin player has a response here. I mean, if you're going to use Nibiru, this is probably the best point to do so, because an Appaloosa 3-mat Appo is easily right around the corner. But it looks like he's going to make IP and then make Anaconda. Really not sure why that was the case. Maybe to help play around evenly matched, I guess. That seemed a little suspect. I'm not going to lie. But we will see him go for DPE. Regardless, pay 2K. I just feel like the IP Masquerena was maybe not necessarily needed. And yeah, we will see DPE pop Anaconda and Rusty. So yeah, I'm assuming this is to play around evenly matched. That's my guess as to why this route was taken. But I feel like he also maybe could have... I don't want to assume too much, but maybe Apo could have also been made there. But yeah, also playing around evenly matched, which is a pretty popular card right now. Is totally understandable. Especially when you have Fogblade, you don't really need Appaloosa. So you will see him normal summon the Lila. And then we're going to see a Fogblade on that. And then we're going to see the password, I believe. Go ahead and search the Live Twin home. And I believe this is kind of like an E-Telly at the cost of a discard. So it has a way to extend here. He does have to pitch the cross-out designator. Not something you typically want to do unless, you know, you've got another one. And maybe all cards in hand for his opponent are known at this point. Not really sure if they are. But we're going to see him summon out the Frost. And DPE activating now, getting rid of the Fogblade and the Frost. And it looks like that will seal it. So oftentimes that is enough. You know, a little bit of spot removal and effect negation will pretty much seal it. And crossout designator not going to be able to do too much against stopping things like Fogblade and DPE, obviously. Any sort of non-hand trapped interruption. And Phantom Knight's really putting up probably the best type of interruption for a deck like Live Twin. Spot removal and spot negation in the form of back row with Fogblade. Into a game 3 situation here, we're going to see Evil Twin go first. Into the standard combo, blue bringing back red for a draw 1, and then into the Trouble Sunny, as expected. And then we're going to see a copy of Password activate here. So probably go get Sunny Snitch, which will grab follow-up, and also get you ahead here in the life point game as well. Add a copy of Kisskill. That will probably do it for his turn, unless he's going to go ahead and set some more Super Polys like we saw in Game 1. If he has another Super Poly, I will actually be in a bit of shock and awe. We're going to see him lead with the Torn Scales here. And we'll see if there's anything in response to the summon. Summon will resolve, and then we have a Kagamucha Knight on summon. And then Torn Scales discarding E-Telly. I think the Live Twin trap is also set there in the center column, so that can revive, I think, up to 2 Live Twins from, or Evil Twins from the grave, and then if he chooses to, he can immediately after link summon using those cards. So it can basically just get you into your 2 link 2s if something happens to the Trouble Sunny. So we'll see him spec out a wielder, or a tracker. And he has the Super Poly again. 3 Super Polys in this match. Fusing away the Cherubini and the Kagamucha Knight, probably into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. That one's got to hurt quite a bit. And the damage is ticking here up to 800 now. And we'll see him activate Cloak, adding a copy of Boots. And Torn Scales will trigger. And it looks like here, before he has a chance to even special summon the Boots, we're going to see him tag out the Trouble Sunny into blue and red. That will pop Torn Scales. It will get banished. And now he has to basically start all over again. And that's going to be easier said than done, especially since Cherubini has already been exhausted. So he's got to get away to get into Rusty or Anaconda here if he wants any chance at trying to get back into this game. Unfortunately, he does have E-Telly and Seer in hand. E-Telly only going to be so helpful right now, because, you know, you can't E-Telly out any Phantom Knight monsters. Unfortunately, there are no Psychic Phantom Knights. I can only imagine if there was, though. It'd be pretty bonkers. I'd almost put Tour Guide to shame. But, I mean, this could single-handedly just be it right here. I mean, Super Poly is one hell of a card we are seeing in this matchup. And that's just going to seal it right there. hitting the bluff set with the Trouble Sunny effect. And yeah, if you guys want to see more of my content, check out one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members. They are Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Keith Stitchers, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much as always for showing me kind and generous support of the channel.